Okay. So thank you all for taking time out of your lives to help us celebrate the life of Jarrod Tracy DeGeorgia. Before we get started, I wanted to thank a handful of people who moved heaven and earth to accommodate today's memorial. First, I would like to thank Jarrod's brother in life, Jason Way, Monty Montgomery, who has not only opened his bar to all of us to congregate and share stories about Jarrod after today's services, but also coordinated the food trucks that will be available by the gym after we have concluded our remarks. Trelawney Pointer, Jarrod's moral compass in life, who will be saying a few words on behalf of Jarrod's daughter Sienna later in the services. Dory DeMaria, who will be speaking alongside Trelawney later in the program, and who is responsible for this lovely photo of Jarrod that you see here today. Dave Baker, the unofficial mayor of Lompoc, who worked tirelessly to coordinate this event and the video, along with his lovely sister Judy, which we will all witness later in the gym following this service. Pastor Craig, who has generously volunteered his time to bless us with the invocation, and Davika Stalling, who secured his attendance. Coaches Lucan and Barrett, who will both say a few words today. Coach Tom Blanco, who makes it a point to check on us on a routine basis. He epitomizes what it means to be a coach, always lifting us up when we are at our lowest point. Celeste Pico, who bent over backwards to make LHS available for our services today. Each time we asked for something, she just said yes and moved mountains to make it happen. Lompoc Valley florist and Jackie Lane, who is a class of 1993 alum, for working with us to provide this lovely floral arrangement behind me. Fun fact, Jason Wade dated both Jackie Lane and Christy Cox in middle school at the same time. We called it playground pimping back then. So. I still don't think that Jackie's fully gotten over it. Karen McCormick for giving of herself completely to ensure the success of our memorial today, yes, and for making Jarrod the happiest I have ever seen him in life.
Yes.
Moose, who could not be here today but was one of the last people to see Jarrod alive, thank you for your dedication, tenacity, and your Herculean efforts to help save our friend and brother Jarrod. And last but certainly not least, to Jarrod's family. Annie, Jarrod's mom, who has been the boots on the ground in planning the celebration of life and giving us permission and creative license to celebrate Jarrod 1993 style. And to his children, Sienna, Ace, and Ty, thank you for your resilience, love, and willingness to allow us to celebrate your father in this way. And to TJ, Jarrod's brother, and the Jimmies, all seated here. The big Jimmies, the little Jimmies, the Jerry, there's a Jerry here as well. Thank you for your unwavering support and love for Jarrod. I know that you were all so unbelievably loved by him, and while you may not all be able to be here today, we know that you are all here in spirit and undeniably feel your love and support. Now I would like to invite Pastor Cray up to perform the invocation.
Thank you all. I'm truly honored for this privilege to share with you. I wanted just to start this invocation with a quick scripture from Exodus chapter 12, and it's the 14th verse, and this is the New Living Translation. And it says this: "This is a day to remember. Each year, from generation to generation, you must celebrate it as a special day unto the Lord." God, we thank you for this incredible opportunity to come today and just celebrate the amazing life of Jarrod. And God, thank you for allowing those that had the heart, God, to continue his legacy. And we thank you right now for legacy that has been established, not just on this football field, but legacy within his children, legacy within this community, and legacy within the hearts of every person that's here today and those that had a desire. I pray now, God, that you will cover us all while we're out here, that you will remind us, God, the shortness of life, but remind us about eternal life with you. For God, you are gracious and you are merciful, and you have proven that to us countless times. Thank you for the incredible memories that we will share today, the laughs that will be brought forth today. But most importantly, in this moment, thank you for the life that we're celebrating and bringing memorial to today. God, we honor you for all that you've done and the time that you gave us to spend and to share. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you, and all glory to your name. In your son Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I feel like Jarrod has a hand in some of this going on today. You will notice that the obituary/programs we have provided to you all today state that these are the services of Jarrod taking place in Iowa. That is because we are followers on a budget and are recycling the obituaries from Jarrod's services in Iowa. His mother, Annie, was gracious enough to send them to us so that they do not go to waste. We will now have Monty Montgomery, Jarrod's close friend and fellow football teammate, come up and read the obituary.
Afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Let's make sure that we all remember that Jarrod laughed, wanted to be with us all the time, loved to hang out. So let's not be somber and sad here, everybody. All right. Jarrod Tracy DeGeorgia, December 23rd, 1974 to April 17th, 2024. Nicknames Birdman, Best Buddy, JD, Coach, and probably the biggest one of all, Dad. Jarrod Tracy DeGeorgia went by many names, but his favorite was Dad. Jarrod excelled in many aspects of life, one being the sport of football. This gift, coupled with his charisma, made him an all-around great athlete and a respected coach. Jarrod's career began with Lompoc High School. Many of us here played with him. One of the best teammates ever. Continued with Wayne State College, and professional career from the Iowa Barnstormers to Sweden to the Sioux City Bandits. To know him was to love him. Jarrod grew up with a large, loving family, his extended family of cousins, uncles, aunts. All remember the larger-than-life persona he carried. With him and the generosity he displayed, his impact on the sport of football, the community, and all those who interacted with him leaves a hole in many hearts. He is survived by his mother, Ann West of Sioux City, his wife, Karen of Lompoc, his brother, TJ of North Royalton, his 3 children, Sienna, Jace, and Ty. Ty was my little buddy. Oh, he was a blast. Gotta keep him away from my daughter, though. We have no doubt that he was greeted on arrival by his father, Larry West, and all other family that preceded him in death. Thank you, everyone.
So now I'm going to start with my remarks about my friend Jarrod. I tried several times to write what I would say today. Each time I would slam my laptop closed and tell myself that I would write it later. I kept putting it off and could not understand why. I, who normally jumps on any given project or task with urgency so as to not miss any deadlines, was procrastinating on this seemingly simple task. Yesterday, I left for the airport with plenty of time to catch my flight, as per usual. When I arrived, there was a traffic jam a mile long. Terminal 1 parking was full, and they were rerouting travelers to Terminal 3, the international terminal. Because of the traffic, I arrived at Terminal 3 30 minutes later, and then it took another 40 minutes before a shuttle arrived to transport us back to Terminal 1. I sprinted through the airport with only 20 minutes left to make my flight. The TSA pre-check line was as long as the normal line, and by the time I made it to my gate, my flight had left. I booked the next available flight, which was on the complete opposite side of the airport, and 3 hours later. When I finally got to my gate for my rebooked flight, I was informed that there was a gate change all the way back at the gate on the other side of the airport. Once again, I sprinted to catch my flight. When I arrived at the gate, I was informed that there was another gate change and the flight was delayed. When I finally boarded the flight, the pilot informed us that due to some weather conditions, we were being rerouted to Ontario. As I ruminated over my incredibly frustrating day, I suddenly started to laugh. I imagined that Jarrod had orchestrated this whole day to mess with me. And then, as we were refueling in Ontario, out of nowhere, someone grabbed my hand. As I looked up, I met the eyes of Jason Coro, a good friend of Jarrod's, also traveling to attend the memorial service today. Then I knew that Jarrod had a hand in my travels. He knew that I needed to see a familiar face who loved him as much as I did. Suddenly, I felt a wave of indescribable connection and peace. That is exactly what Jarrod did in life. He always gave you what you needed, even when you didn't know you needed it. I first fell in love with Jarrod in middle school, platonically, of course, when he did his show-stopping rendition of Hey Hey Paula, playing both the male and female parts, with half his face donned as a woman and other half as a man. It was the best performance that I had seen since Kareem Battle did his rendition of Michael Jackson at the elementary school talent show in 3rd grade, which incidentally is when I first fell in love with Kareem Battle, not platonically. From then on, Jarrod and I would be kindred spirits. When we both ran for 8th grade co-commissioner, well, it was just 8th grade commissioner, we both decided that we did not want to compete with one another and jointly approached the administration asking if we could be co-commissioners. They said yes, and we have been co-commissioners ever since. After graduating from high school, we would keep in touch, updating each other on the daunting task of being grown-ups, although I would joke that Jarrod never quite got the hang of it. We were so blessed to spend time with him at our 30-year class reunion, where he and Karen hosted all of us at their home on the last day. As we were planning the reunion, we lost another classmate, Tony Thompson, and it instilled in us a resolve to make the reunion happen while, in Jarrod's words, we were still on this side of the dirt. It was literally one of the best weekends of my life. It may sound strange given all the excitement of life, but that weekend was magical. We danced, we sang, we reminisced, and it was as familiar as an old worn-in baseball glove. On the last day of the reunion, I met Jarrod and his son Ty for breakfast, and I was so moved by his profound and obvious love for this beautiful little boy who was clearly striving to walk in his dad's footsteps. We texted each other at the end of the day, lamenting our grief that the weekend was over. But that would not be the last time I saw Jarrod. It was Super Bowl weekend, and I was in town to help my mom move. We had planned on gathering at his home. When I texted him to ask what time I should be over, he texted back that he was not doing well, and in a very dark place, and didn't want a bunch of people at his house. I told him that I was not a bunch of people, and was coming over anyway, whether he liked it or not. There was nothing he could do short of calling the police to stop me. I brought over some food, and neither of us watched what has been dubbed as the most spectacular Super Bowl in recent history. Instead, we talked, we ate, we laughed, and ultimately he cried. He just laid his head on my lap and cried from his soul. I just stroked his hair and told him how much I loved him, and assured him that it was always darkest before dawn, and that this too would pass. He told me he loved me too, and that he valued our decades of friendship. I am overwhelmingly grateful that I had those last moments with him, and it does offer some solace in this unbelievable moment of grief. As I wrote this last night, through stinging tears, I finally realized why I could not bring myself to write it sooner. It is because it is an acknowledgement that my co-commissioner for life was no longer here. I think that subconsciously I was in a state of self-preserving denial because the reality of his passing is just too much to bear. In closing, I would like to recite a poem by St. Vincent Millay, a poem that I learned right here at Lompoc High School from one of my favorite teachers ever, Mr. Arnerich. My candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night, but all my foes and all my friends, it gives a lovely light. To me, this poem epitomizes how my dear friend Jarrod lived his life. And to his kids, mom, and other family members, I do not possess the poetry of language to fully articulate how much Jarrod meant to us all. So I will simply say that Jarrod was one of the most magnanimous, loving, and influential people ever to grace this earth. Rest in peace, my friend. You will always remain in my heart. Next, I would like to invite the legendary Coach Lucan up to say a few words.
Thank you, Betty. Boy, that's a tough one to follow. All right, to the Halls, to DeGeorgia's wife, and to those that couldn't be here, it's a pleasure to be able to talk. Thank you. Okay, when I arrived in 1991 to be the football coach at Lompoc High, Jarrod was my quarterback for his junior and senior years. What can I say to emphasize how proud I am, along with the coaching staff, of the person he was and his many accomplishments? Coach Pacheco said in one of the news articles from 1992, he was mature beyond his years, a very strong arm, and a great presence in the huddle. Coach Thompson called him a very sociable guy, and he had an exuberance of confidence that attracted others. I think Patty said that. I liked his work ethic. You could see that as a player at Lompoc High, Santa Barbara City College, Wayne State in Nebraska, arena football for the Iowa Barnstormers, Sweden, and with the Sioux City Bandits in South Dakota, where he played and coached for many years. Going into the food business, which takes long hours and tremendous dedication, he went from owning one restaurant to owning several. An entrepreneur. That's Jarrod. When I met him going into his junior year, Jarrod had just quarterbacked the first CIF championship in Lompoc history. As a coach and player, we had our ups and downs. That first year, he showed up late before a game, and I didn't start him. Then he came down with mono and missed 3 games. So his junior year was not up to par for either one of us. His senior year, he came out with a vengeance. He broke every school record for a quarterback at Lompoc High School. He also earned all-league in football, baseball, league champion in both football and baseball, semifinals in football, and all CIF in football and baseball, and CIF champion in baseball. Jarrod also quarterbacked the All-Star Football North team to a victory that year. With all these accolades, he never lost his enthusiasm for life. Whenever he was in town, he'd stop by to say hi and get caught up on family and football. He loved to talk about his kids. His older son, his daughter, and of course his younger son. Once he moved back to Lompoc, he would ride by my house to see if I was working out in my garage. If I wasn't, I'd receive a text message admonishing me. Coach, how come you're not working out? He even thought he was still in the Midwest, coming in through the garage without knocking and scaring my wife half to death. Once she realized who it was, there was lots of laughter. Since he lived around the block from us in high school, our boys thought the world of him and how cool it was to have the quarterback right next door. We will truly miss Jarrod. His legacy and memories will stay with us forever. God bless you and rest in peace, big buddy.
Next, I would like to invite both Trelawney Pointer and Dory DeMaria. I'm sorry, is your last name still DeMaria? High school, I'm sorry. Up to read a statement prepared by Jarrod's daughter, Sienna. I'm sorry, it's not DeMaria anymore. I'm so sorry.
I can't rap on that. It's DeMaria. So first off, I would just like to say that Jarrod was one of mine and Dory's very best friends. We have known him for years. We stood out on this football field many times, waiting for him to come off that field and just recap the game, and we were always there for him. We truly miss him. So Sienna sent me over a statement and wanted to make sure that we shared it with him, and so Dory's going to go ahead and read that. So Charles a big baby, that's why I'm reading this. I refuse to cry because I want to take a stance like his mother, who's a hard ass. And so, Annie, I'm going to be a hard ass just like you. And if y'all knew Jarrod, if you cried, he would say, well, to me, stop being a little bitch. And I'm sure he learned that from his mother. And I'm old and I forgot to print this. I'll try it from my phone. So this is from a Sarah Sienna, who graduated last month. She graduated last month. So she had some amazing words for her dad. So this has been the hardest time of my life, as we've lost a son, a brother, a nephew, a cousin, a soon-to-be uncle, a best friend, a legendary football player, and a coach. But that night, my brothers and I lost our daddy, our best friend, the man who never failed to make any of us in the room laugh or smile. He loved fiercely through colorful language and passion. As a natural-born leader, he taught me the meaning of unconditional love and showed me what I felt like to be loved unconditionally. What it felt like to be loved unconditionally. Growing up with a dad like him is something I'll forever cherish. There are so many memories I shared with him these past 17 years. One of my favorite times were when we both woke up at 6 a.m. to go fishing and had a competition on who could catch the most fish. Regardless of who won, he taught me something new that day and every day spent after that. I'll never forget the hundreds of late nights in the kitchens where we would dance and sing passionately. That was our thing we would do and always say. The night before he passed, I was on FaceTime with him. This call was filled with love, light, and promise of tomorrow. Phew. No, I lost my spot. So, the night before he passed, I was on FaceTime with him. This call was filled with love, light, and promise of tomorrow. He was counting down the days until he was here so he could watch his little girl graduate. Dad, I know from now on you won't be here physically for these big milestones, but you will achieve this in life. But you shine through me endlessly. You'll be with me by my side when I walk across the stage for graduation. You'll be by my side when I walked down the aisle for my wedding. You'll be by my side from here on out. There isn't a goodbye, it's a see you later. But until then, I promise I will love you forever and make you proud and do everything from now on for you and only you. So those were the words of his beautiful daughter, Sienna. Well, I mean, Charles making me speak. We could go on for hours. We were friends for decades. There was three amigos, no, two amigos. There's another amigo now who's got so many stories with Jarrod. Some of you may know we dated millennials ago, but we always remained friends. And actually, I was that cliche of dating a quarterback that moved away, and he took me to a smaller town in Lompoc, goddammit. So, he was friends with everybody. He loved to make everybody laugh and smile, and that will never change. And that's what everybody has to remember him by. And I guess it was meant to be that this is where he ended up for the last periods of time in his life.
You big baby. Thank you so much for sharing those lovely words. Next, I would like to invite Jarrod's brother from another mother, Jason Way, up to say a few words.
Thank you, Patty. Definitely thank you, Patty, and many others in the class of 93 for coordinating this day. It's just great to see our town pulling together for such a special event. I wanted to say to Coach Barrett, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I'm sorry for that bad first impression 30 years ago. When you gave me a chance to come up from JV to varsity at linebacker, and I ended up getting ejected for talking back to the referee during an equipment timeout. That was my bad. That was my bad. But honestly, what I said was kind of funny, but maybe for later. He didn't like it. The point is, I've used this as an example of what not to do with my son over the years. Make a good first impression. Do as I say and not as I do or did is very applicable with the relationship that I have with my son, for sure. Anyway, hello everyone, and thank you very much for coming today. My name's Jason Way. I've been close friends with Jarrod, or JD, since the start of middle school. I guess that puts us in about 1986 or 87. Some pretty cool fluorescent colors when I look back at pictures of my skis, for sure. And my son just shakes his head like, what a dork. Yep. My wife Tasha and our 16-year-old son Jackson were unable to make it today, but they send their condolences. I want to thank them both as well for helping me through this challenging time. It's not been easy, and I love them both very much for their caring and understanding when I just take 3 hours out of my day to lay by the pool and listen to songs that help me think of you, JD, and all of our fun times together. I miss you, JD. It's so nice to see familiar faces, many familiar faces. We all lost someone special when JD passed. There's only one, number 12. To sum it up, JD was just fun to be with all the time. I'll come back to this at the end. My heart goes out to his wife Karen, his mom Annie, mom number 2 to me, his large, fun, extended family, his 3 smart and beautiful children, Sienna, Jason, Ty, plus his brother, aka best buddy, TJ, who is expecting their first child very soon. Man, Jarrod was looking forward to this so much. I know because in our last hours together on April 5th, guys, it just feels like yesterday, he told me, just like he told me he was excited to get out of the hospital and get back to Iowa to watch Sienna graduate from high school. To the kids, stay strong and continue chasing your dreams just like he did. Your dad loves you very much. That's what he wanted for you all. Chase your dreams, keep dancing. And no, it doesn't matter who's watching, just dance. He talked about it multiple times with me in the past year, how much he wanted for his kids. April 3rd, I texted you, JD, that we're in town for my son Jackson's Central Coast baseball games in the next few days. And I'm heading over to pick you up and we're gonna hit the Budget Cafe. And then by April 5th, we're having our final ice cream together? Ever? Are you serious? How is that even possible? When I was just still, and today standing here so excited to have you back in Lompoc, and being able to connect in person again. I don't know, it's hard to believe. For those of you that don't know, JD got fired from Baskin-Robbins in high school for not charging his friends for every single ice cream. And I know there are people here who didn't pay. Don't even try it, okay? The owners caught him by using binoculars across the street from Taco Bell. Come on, that's amazing. I've told this story over and over to random people. It's amazing. And I just love it happened to Jarrod. Got him. Anyway, sorry. I share this because when I brought his 2 favorite flavors to him from Baskin-Robbins over to the Lompoc Hospital, of course, mint chip and chocolate peanut butter, I said to him in the hospital, "Hey, I actually paid for these this time." He said, "Oh, you are such a..." You picked the word? Yep, it's one of the bad ones. He was so easy to laugh with, even in his toughest times. It didn't matter. I loved how last summer at the 30th reunion, when I asked him to go back and check on my mom, go and check on my mom occasionally, that's exactly what he did repeatedly. I love the FaceTime videos of you and my mom walking on Surf Beach and the quality time you spent with her. It meant the world to me. And I know my mom, Mary, who's here today, cherished the time with you, including your last full night alive that you spent at our home. It does my heart so good to know that you stayed in our home under my mom's care your last full night alive. It means a lot. JD and I were friends since 6th grade, skateboarding daily to Lompoc Valley Middle School after eggs in the nest or Pop-Tarts and a tall glass of milk at his house. Every single day. So much fun before phones. Ugh. Oh yeah, and growing our hair out into little mini truck mullets. So it curled up in the back. We were so pumped when it curled up. And then shaving lines in the side of our heads for Flower Festival. Come on, it's all about Brian Bosworth still. All right. To this day, I think of you and your mom and these great memories. Whenever I'm getting ready to make breakfast at my house, my family jokes that if Dad makes breakfast, it will be eggs in the nest. Oh, not again. Geez, Dad, can't we have that? We can't have that every time. Or how about the 8th grade baseball team and the corny rap song that we all made together? Stupid but fun. Oh, and thank you for riding all the way from 5th Street in Lompoc over 12 miles out to Mill Road on a horrible, old, rickety, uncomfortable 10-speed with tires low on air out to visit Belina and Shelly. Hi, Shelly. Dang, that was a long ride, and I know you hated it because you reminded me about it at our 30-year reunion last summer. I had not forgotten, but it was deep in there. So I know you hated that, but thanks for taking the ride, bro. Another unforgettable memory was our 8th grade summer visit to San Diego to visit JD's late Uncle Chris and his Uncle Danny, where they ended up pulling off the best prank of all time. If you know, you know. Maybe ask me afterwards in a smaller group and I might share the details. Regardless, it's still the best prank ever pulled off to this day, and I know a few of the family members remember that. It was unreal. To Jarrod's mom, Annie, and his late father, Larry, or as Jarrod and I called him, MC Lair. I didn't call him anything else. Thank you for all the amazing memories and making me feel welcome every single time I entered your home. I love you both. I know Larry and JD are together right now, scheming on how to mess with me. I know it. And I know I'll recognize it too when something happens that these two guys have planned, and I'll look up and laugh with you both. Your family was always so welcoming, and I appreciate it very much. I have such great memories of us ripping around your mom's fast white IROC Z convertible, or having fun in your brown Jeep in the riverbed or your gray Chevy truck. Or with Kevin Warren, this is good, wrecking his car by hitting a telephone pole during lunch hour on the first day he had his license. Shout out to Kevin. I still can't listen to the Fast Car song without getting sad since you've passed. That song just gets me. Also, great memories as freshmen going to prom together with 2 seniors. Man, we thought we were so damn cool. Especially you. But you always thought you were cool. I've never met a successful quarterback that didn't have swagger and confidence. Don't know if I'd want to block for him either. But you always had a way of making real and meaningful connections with people and laughing a lot. I had a lot of fun with you, JD. So many fun practices and games together that all led to a CIF championship winning baseball game at Angel Stadium in '93. Memories that can never be taken away from us. My family is so tired of hearing that story, and I simply don't care. How about this? Let me know if you've ever met someone else like this. Gets drafted to the MLB for 1 day. Goes and pitches, and then retires the same day. Why? Because MC Lair wanted him to. That he knew would make his dad proud. Who does that? I think something else that might have had a little bit to do with it is JT Snow got up twice and hit 2 400-foot bombs. But still, who gets to do that? Seriously, you let me know if you know anybody else that does it. Like, I got drafted and now I'm going to retire. Okay, see ya. He told me that story within the last few months. It was crazy. Again, I'm filled with great memories of playing sports together and having a lot of fun in everything we did growing up, like me learning the power of your 2-stroke dirt bike. I just said, come on, man, let me get a ride quick. I just want to try it. I want to feel the power. Yeah, you're going to wreck it. No, I'll be fine. I end up wheeling too hard and breaking your rear fender into 1,000 pieces. It was a brand new bike. I love it. I tore it up. It was fun. Or us dipping searing hot French fries into freezing cold ice cream cones at Foster Freeze on the way home from school. There's that ice cream theme again, too. A special shout out to the church family. Man, big part of our lives. Gary, Karen, Andy, Ryan, and Matthew. You all mean the world to me, and you helped raise us, both of us, me and JD. There was a Halloween pumpkin incident many years ago where Matt's pumpkin got destroyed. First of all, we're very sorry, Matt. Sorry about that. Just want to make sure you're not still mad at us. Since you're a decorated Army Green Beret and all. Thank you for your service, Matt. Over the years, we've jokingly debated with Gary and his family whether it was JD's idea or mine to destroy that pumpkin. So let me set the record straight. It was JD's idea. Anyway, I think most of you know if you've met Gary Church, he's someone you don't mess with. So I'm glad that we can get this straightened out once and for all. You were a very successful athlete, an awesome dad to 3 great kids, a great son and a loving brother to TJ, and an amazing lifelong friend. I fully expect you and Larry to be in front row seats watching all of your kids' sporting events, high school graduation, just like you were watching over Sienna last month, looking down on her beautiful handmade graduation cap from heaven. Plus, future kids' college graduations and weddings. We know you will be there with your loving support, your big smile, and giving us crap one way or another like you always did. I'm so thankful that Jackson, JD, and I got to spend over an hour together at La Purisma Golf Course a few months ago, just laughing and telling stories while he sold golf club grip replacements for way too damn much money. He's funny, man. Like, look at this guy. He's about to pay this much. Watch this. Watch this. Watch all I do. This is all I do. Watch this. He's going to give me $600. That's all I do. Watch this. It's just hilarious. Like, watch this. Oh, gosh. I love so much how JD greeted Jackson for the first time like they had known each other for many years. Dapped him up with a big, solid guy hug and immediately proceeded to say, "Oh my God, and you're pretty too. Jeez, he better stay away from my daughter because she loves your type." Wow, who would have ever thought how important that hour together would have been for us to hang out with my son. I am so glad we stopped out there to say hello together. The best part is when my son and I got in the truck to leave. He said, "Wow, Dad, Now I see why you had so much fun with that guy. He's just a fun guy. I love you, number 12. Rest in peace.
Next, we're going to have some words from Coach, our beloved Coach Barrett.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for letting myself and these other speakers be a part of the Jason Way show today. It's nice to see everybody out here. I don't know all of you by sight. You'll just have to remind me, okay, it's been a few years, but I want to keep a couple things in perspective. First of all, in 1990, Lompoc High School's varsity football team won the first CIF championship in the school's history. And it was huge, and we're so proud of that. You know, I remember I saw Jason Barthel last year, and Coach Lucan got 2 CIF championships, did a great job in 2002, 2003, and Coach Jones in 2010, 2011 also played for me, so those things are great. Those are great memories. But as Jason Barthel would say, because he was part of those guys I coached, but Coach, we were the first ones. That's the pride those guys had. I'm sorry Moose Mouth's not here today. I'm sorry Napoleon Kaufman's not here today. They'd like to be here. They were a big part of Jarrod's life, because the last year or so, they were in touch with him. I was really pleased when Jarrod came back here. It was nice to see him, spend a little time with him, and we got to be able to communicate a little bit. It was really nice to talk to Karen. Karen and I go way back with my wife, back in high school days, those kinds of things. I'm glad she's here today. But you know, 1990, that was a big deal to win a CIF championship. Mike Warren was a great coach, and they had to play in about 5 divisions, which were all huge schools that Lompoc never quite made it for a CIF championship. I think they finished second 4 or 5 times, but they had great teams under Mike Warren too. And you know, we had about 5 or 6 Division I guys in those 2 years, 1989, 1990. We had Tommy Thompson, punter and place kicker at Oregon, punter for the 49ers. We had Jason Grossini, Bobby Singer, Paul Kaufman, and Napoleon Kaufman, of course. But we wouldn't have won the 1990 championship without Jarrod DeGeorgia. Okay, Jarrod was a sophomore. We used to get a little time with our quarterbacks and our skill people in the summertime, but his baseball coaches would not allow us to do that. So Coach Pacheco, who has 5 CIF championship rings, the only guy I know that has that, got together with Jarrod, and with little time we had, got him up and ready to play varsity football as only a sophomore. And early in the year, you know, we didn't know what the kid could do, so you hand it to number 8, you know, that was making it a little easier, you know. But later on in the season, you know, Coach Pacheco had worked with Jarrod, and we were able to loosen him up a little bit. He threw a great bomb in the CIF championship game. He did a great job the last few years. You know, I was lucky when I came here with these coaches, because we had Gene Brzezinski, Coach Ski, may he rest in peace. J.C. Holt is just recovering from serious surgery over in Temecula. Jerry Thompson is over in Bakersfield today, or he would be here today, honoring Pat Houck, who was inducted into the Wrestling State Hall of Fame. And so that's why Jerry's not here today, or he would be. And then, of course, Roger Pacheco is here. And again, without Roger's help, I think he was with Jarrod all these times and all these stories about him in the years with Coach Lucan and everything else. So, but I'm going to keep it short. I just want to thank everybody for coming here. This was something we wanted to try to do, because I think we all wanted to have some closure here in Lompoc too. We wanted to be able to express our condolences, our sympathy, and our love for Jarrod to all of his family members that are here today, and his wife Karen. So thank you very much for including me, and Jarrod was a great young kid, and a pleasure to coach, and I'm really sorry for what has happened with everybody, but may you rest in peace, Jarrod.
Thank you, Coach. And last, but certainly not least, Jarrod's mom. That was my script, so okay. Jarrod's mom, Annie, asked that I following statement to you all today. First of all, let me start out by saying thank you all for taking time out of your busy lives to honor my son. I wish I could be there with you all to thank you in person, but I'm afraid that I just didn't have it in me to go through it again. The class of 1993 is not just your ordinary kind of high school class. Friendships were formed that would last a lifetime. For my Jarrod, sadly, that lifetime has ended. I know, though, that he will live on in a lot of your hearts as he will in mine. Jarrod left behind 3 beautiful children, all of whom will miss him so much. Even though his last couple of years were spent separated by state lines, with technology and social media, they remained very close. He also left behind a younger brother, TJ. TJ joined our family in 1993. I never saw 2 brothers bond so quickly. They were fast friends. Jarrod often said to TJ things like, "Mom, isn't your real mom? She gave birth to me, but not to you." TJ would quickly reply that that was true and Mom had to keep you. She picked me. Jarrod graciously gave him that point. My brother Danny recently visited Jarrod here in Lompoc. He found the visit a bit strange. He said that everywhere they went, people seemed to know Jarrod. Not only that they seemed to like him, he couldn't figure that out, but that was just Jarrod. Jarrod loved his community of Lompoc, and even though he spent several years in the Midwest, he always considered this his home. We came to Lompoc when my dad was transferred to Vandenberg Air Force Base, and this is where we stayed. Jarrod led a charmed life here in Lompoc, surrounded by friends and family. You can't talk about Lompoc High School without talking about football. Jarrod was fortunate to be a part of that Cinderella team that took the CIF championship in 1990. He was also on many other teams at Lompoc High School. It was a wonderful life that he thoroughly enjoyed, and God knows that we, his family, enjoyed watching him. Who knows, maybe God needed a quarterback in the balcony. So once more, with feeling Lompoc, thank you so much for being here to honor my son. Most importantly, thank you for loving him. Annie DeGeorgia West. With that, we are going to conclude our speaking portion of the memorial services today. We invite all of you all to adjourn to the gym, where we will be watching a video compilation put together by David and his sister Judy. Thank you guys so much again for this. We will send a copy to his mom. There's also food trucks back there. David, do you? Oh, I'm so sorry. If there's anyone else from the family that would like to say some words, please feel free to come up.
I hadn't really planned to say anything, but I do just want to thank you all for honoring Jarrod, who was, as has been said by many other people, quite an amazing young man, and we will miss him. Thank you very much.
I'm the last of the 10 halls that stayed in Lompoc. Nobody else would take me, I think. But I just wanted to tell a story about Jarrod. And actually, got to do it right now. But his mother, Annie, she was number 6 of the 11 of us. But she was door dashing, and she had to deliver 1 hamburger to an older couple, and it amazed her that somebody would order 1 hamburger. And I've heard jokes about this thing too, but this was a true story. That she went up to the door, and an older lady, probably about my age, took the hamburger, and she was amazed. She walked away, she turned and she looked, and she broke the hamburger in half and shared it with her husband. So Annie called Jarrod, who was running about 20 Dairy Queens at the time, and told him about this kind of a sad story. her house became flooded with Dairy Queen products. All to the, probably to the dismay maybe of the owner, but Jarrod took care of those people. And that's the kind of stuff that he did. He was horrible sometimes, but you overlooked that in a heartbeat, and then he was amazing. Thank y'all very much.
Probably got fired from Dairy.
Anybody else want to speak? Okay. Thanks again for everybody for coming. I was asked to make sure everybody knows where we're going next. We're going to close this out next couple hours, just hanging out, sharing stories. We do have a video presentation that we'll get going once we settle in over there. We're going to be in the gymnasium, so just exit out the gate here, follow it around the back of the school, through the boys' locker room. Yeah, some of you have been there. Through the boys' locker room and into the gym, and we'll hang out there for a while. And thank you once again to school staff, Celeste and Claudia, for helping make this happen today. Thanks, everyone. And if anybody wants to help take some of this stuff over, we're done. We're done out here.
Thank you. It's nice.